They traveled without solid plans, laughed freely, wandered around foreign cities, and shared moments that felt less like a show and more like an intimate journey between two people who were truly comfortable with one another. In New York, they walked as if the world was too small to hold their energy. In Jeju, they searched for simple homemade meals that felt like a form of shelter. In Sapporo, there were those subtle glances they exchanged when they thought no one was looking, the kind of unspoken language fans have learned to read over the years. From kayaking together to trying new things with childlike curiosity, their interactions radiated a sense of trust that didn't need explanation. They even joked about pretending to be different people for a moment, showing how free and unguarded they felt together. That season felt like a disguised honeymoon wrapped in the label of friendship, a dynamic so natural and effortless that many couldn't help but wonder what lay beneath it. And now, with the release of the teaser for Season 2, it's clear that none of that has disappeared. In fact, it has returned stronger than before. The teaser opens with an instantly iconic moment. Jimin waking up, shirtless and slightly confused, while Jungkook enters the room laughing as if it were the funniest thing he'd seen all day. That laugh wasn't simply amusement. It was warmth, comfort and familiarity woven into sound. It immediately sets the tone, revealing a connection that slipped right back into place as if time had never passed. Scenes then shift to snowy roads in Switzerland, where they drive through silent mountains and still lakes. They kayak on waters so clear they reflect the sky like a mirror. They cook in a makeshift kitchen, preparing food together with a rhythm that feels like they've done it for a lifetime. They attempt skiing with adorable awkwardness, laughing at themselves and at each other without any attempt to hide their clumsiness. They share oversized hoodies, exchange hats, and interact through tiny gestures that show they don't need words to communicate. Their journey continues in Vietnam, where they visit quiet beaches and vibrant markets. But what makes this part so captivating isn't the scenery, it's the conversations. Jimin speaks openly about his feelings at this point in his life, reflecting with a softness that feels new. Jungkook, in turn, expresses how happy he is to spend time with his Hyung again after the military. At one point they mention that they were together almost every day for 18 months. For longtime fans, this wasn't just a casual statement. It was confirmation of a bond that not only survived but flourished. 8 episodes are promised this season, filled with natural conversations, soft jokes, comfortable silences, and the unmistakable energy they radiate when they are alone together. The show premieres on December 3rd, releasing 2 episodes per week until the 24th, almost like an early holiday gift for those who have followed their story over the years. But among all the clips, one moment dominates the discussion. Jungkook looking at Jimin with an expression so gentle that many fans joked it felt like the world paused for a few seconds. He sits quietly, a small smile forming, eyes shining softly while Jimin speaks unaware of the attention he's receiving. The moment feels familiar, almost like a direct echo of Season 1, and that familiarity is what set social media ablaze. The full teaser summarizes days they spent traveling together, including the parts they spontaneously extended on their own. It features snowy mountains in Switzerland, crystal-clear lakes, and warm scenes from Vietnam. Even in these simple settings, their interactions spark comments about their undeniable chemistry. One of the most talked about clips is from their kayaking scene. They splash water at each other, laugh loudly, and move in sync as Jungkook helps Jimin paddle when he grows tired. The small, almost instinctive gesture is what fans love most, caring, attentive, and completely natural. Another heart-stealing moment occurs during a forest walk. Jungkook reaches out to fix Jimin's hat to shield him from the sun. The movement is quick, subtle, but undeniably intimate. Fans see these gestures not as isolated moments, but as pieces of a long-standing puzzle that has been forming for years. There are also scenes of them in the car, singing familiar songs, sharing snacks, and exchanging easy glances that radiate comfort. Many pointed out how similar the atmosphere feels to Season 1, only now with even more confidence, more ease. Then there's the paragliding scene in Vietnam. Jimin stands a little nervous before takeoff while Jungkook, calm, reassuring, encourages him gently. The moment is brief, but it carries the weight of a dynamic built on trust, one they've repeatedly emphasized when talking about their relationship. What makes everything even more fascinating is that none of this feels forced. Their interactions don't look staged or crafted for the camera. Even the simplest gestures, leaning closer, adjusting each other's clothes, brushing hands, or sharing space, speak louder than any scripted moment could. It is a kind of closeness that doesn't need explanation. It simply exists, naturally, persistently. Sometimes you can see them gravitating toward each other without thinking. Jimin leaning in to speak more softly, Jungkook resting a hand on Jimin's back as support, or the two of them walking side by side until their hands touch naturally. These are the moments fans hold on to, small, quiet pieces of their dynamic that say everything without a single word spoken. Their subtle habits repeat year after year, becoming patterns recognized instantly by longtime followers. A hand on the shoulder to get attention. A shared smile at a private joke. A glance that lasts a second too long. These aren't grand, dramatic gestures. They're everyday intimacy. Even when they're in a crowded place, the air shifts when they stand near each other. Their energy becomes noticeably softer, warmer, and fans pick up on it immediately. It's not something they announce, it's something they radiate. And that's what makes their dynamic so captivating. Jimin and Jungkook interact in a way that doesn't need explanation or labels. They don't try to create moments, they simply live them. And in doing so they create something irresistibly cinematic. In the end, the teaser for Season 2 of Are You Sure? Becomes something more than a preview. It's a quiet confirmation of closeness that never faded, of comfort that only grew stronger, of a connection that returns to its place effortlessly. For fans, this season feels like long-awaited reassurance. A reminder that Jikook is still Jikook, warm, natural, playful, steady. A duet of two people who turn simple moments into something unforgettable, not because they try but because it's simply who they are.